Hey, hey, it's your man D.U. It's your man D.U. And this is another day, another Sunday of talking trash. Another Sunday of talking trash. You know how we get down. Yo, it's NFL. NFL week 2, right? NFL week 2. Hold up. We gonna talk. Should we talk about NFL week 2? All I want to talk about is the Giants, right? It's the Giants. We 1-0. The Giants is 1-0. I love the Giants, right? But on a serious note, we're gonna talk about Robert Sarver. He doesn't get a bomb. Robert Sarver does not get a bomb. And we're gonna talk about the WNBA finals. We're gonna talk about the WNBA finals. Becky Hammond. You know what I mean? Becky Hammond. Kelsey Plum. Amongst others. Right? So, yeah. Let's get into it. But before we get into that, let me talk about this merch real quick. Of course, you can get yourself a Pulsar Entertainment hat at Pulsar-Entertainment LLC.mybigcommerce.com. Again, Pulsar-Entertainment LLC.mybigcommerce.com. Come on, let's get a bomb for that. Hold on. Pulsar-Entertainment LLC.mybigcommerce.com. Get your merchandise, get your Pulsar hat, your Talking Trash water bottle, you get your Pulsar t-shirts, Cornerstone snapbacks. Check out our site, right? So what I want to talk about real quick is the WNBA finals, right? First game. The Aces won like I expected them to win. They won the first game 67-64. Kelsey Plum, Chelsea Gray, and the crew was magnificent, right? Second game, the Aces won 85-71. 85-71. To me, the Aces, at this point, the Aces is just a better team. They're a better team with better coaching for Becky Hammond. Becky Hammond, the $1 million coach who's coaching for the WNBA, the $1 million coach who's been overlooked by the NBA. They don't want to give her a job because she's a woman. But in her first year as a WNBA coach, she takes the Aces to the finals, and probably today, the game comes on at 4 o'clock, she'll probably win a championship. I think Becky Hammond is going to win a championship. I'm hoping she does. I'm rooting for her, you know? Then the third game comes. Now, I'm thinking that the Aces is going to sweep this 3-0. I'm thinking it's going to be a sweep, right? But the Connecticut Sun, came back like true warriors, right? True competitors. The Connecticut Sun won the third game 105-76. I just think, to be honest with you, I just think the Aces just had a little mental lapse, man. To be honest. Because Chelsea Gray, Kelsey Plum, Asia Wilson, yo, that crew is better than the Connecticut Sun. Like a way better team. Like, if I could make a comparison, it would be like the comparison would be the Showtime Lakers playing the New York Knicks. Right? That's how I look at it. Like, I'm talking about the Showtime Lakers playing the New York Knicks from the 90s. The Showtime Lakers, both teams would have made the finals, but the Showtime Lakers, were the superior team, right? There's no getting around it. And before I bring up this next topic, I want to ask, how was everyone's experience watching Thursday Night Football on Prime? How was your experience? Did you enjoy it? Did you know the game was on Prime? Right? They picked a great game as their first game. The Chargers and the Kansas City Chiefs. That was a great game as their first game. It looked like the Chargers was going to pull that game out, right? But of course, Mahomes showed he was the real deal, right? But the thing that stood out to me is that, Roger Goodell and Bezos was chilling in the stands, and Bezos was probably looking like was talking to Roger Goodell, and he was laughing, and he was like, man, I could imagine what he was saying. He probably was like, man, I probably got 2 million more customers because they thought the game was going to be on ESPN, or they thought the game was going to be on Channel 4. So a whole bunch of football fans, mostly men, was like, where the hell is the game at? And if you wasn't an Amazon Prime member, you couldn't watch the game. So I could see a whole bunch of football fans, mostly men, scrambling to become an Amazon Prime member so they could watch the Kansas City Chiefs play the Los Angeles Chargers, the LA Chargers. Right? So that was an ingenious move by Jeff Bezos. And it just goes to show you what direction professional sports is going in. Because soon you're going to see the NBA do the same thing. Soon you're going to see, it's going to go on with Major League Baseball. Soon it's going to go on with hockey. I guarantee you, boxing is on certain apps, but when I'm talking about the major streaming services like Amazon Prime, Apple Plus, right? The major streaming services, you're going to see professional sports transition to that. Like, we might look around in the NBA All-Star game or the dunk contest, you're only going to be able to watch on Amazon Prime, right? Well, speaking of the dunk contest, speaking of basketball, speaking of the NBA always giving you some drama, the NBA suspended for a year the Phoenix Suns owner, Robert Sarver. They suspended Robert Sarver for a year and hit him with a $10 million fine. Right? And they suspended him because of an investigation where they found that Robert Sarver at least 5 times said the N-word, right? At least 5 times said the N-word. Robert Sarver can I say, bad conduct against a number of his employees, where um one of his employees, I think a trainer or something, was checking him right on his knees, giving him a check, like maybe like his thigh. I don't know exactly what happened, but maybe he was giving like a check for like maybe a strained thigh, or he pulled a muscle somewhere in his leg. And Robert Sarver pulls down his pants in front of him. I'm not going to say how this would have turned out in the hood, right? Right? Matter of fact, that's not happening in the hood. Another occasion where they said Robert Sarver was in the players' locker room in the shower, and then comes out the shower, standing in front of the players, just butt ass naked. Inappropriate behavior from an owner. Another occasion where they're at some corporate function and there was some music being played. He grabs up an employee and starts dancing with him and is grinding on him, pelvis to pelvis. Another example of inappropriate conduct, right? Then another occasion where he sees a female employee who they say may have had some work done on her breast. And he walked past her and said, "Oh, it looks like you got an upgrade." This dude sounds like a jerk, right? This dude sounds like a jerk. But the conversation that was being had mostly on a lot of these programs was not about his frat room type behavior with his employees. Oh, excuse me, not frat room, but frat house type behavior with his employees. It was about the use of the N-word. So this comes about during a game when Draymond Green was using the N-word repeatedly. And so Robert Sarver turns to whoever he was sitting next to and uses the N-word and says, if he can use it like that multiple times, why can't I use it as a white man? Now, I'm gonna start by saying this. I don't use the N-word in my vocabulary. I stopped using the N-word a long, long, long time ago. I erased the N-word from my vocabulary when I was about 19 years of age. And just to cut to the chase, a friend of mine, and I believe at the time he was in college, and I think he was, I might be wrong, but I think he was heavy, like taking up black studies. But even if he wasn't, this was during that time of Public Enemy, Fight the Power. Like rap music was like really, like Afrocentric. It was, it was about rap music was upliftment of black people. So that movement was going on, right? So me and my friend had the conversation where he asked me. He was like, I'm using the N-word in my conversation repeatedly. And so he looked at me and asked me, why do you use that word? And I couldn't give him an answer. I couldn't give him an answer. There wasn't an answer. We wasn't saying, this is a term of endearment. I'm using it as a term of endearment to my brother, right? That answer wasn't popular then, right? So when I couldn't give him an answer, I've always been one to say, if it don't make sense, why do it? If you don't know why do it? If you don't know the reason behind it, why do it? If you don't understand, like, I'm basically following the crowd. I'm basically joining in with what's being done in our environment. And so now, when I couldn't give my friend an answer why I use that word, which over here in America is sometimes the last word Black people heard before they were slain, I had to think again on my use of the N-word. And then from my further research, it was used in another culture to say black is dead. Right? In another culture to say black is dead. And then also knowing that this was the last words, one of the last words people hear, some black people heard before they were slain or abused. I made it a point to say I will never use that word again. And in a lot of cases, I saw where the N-word wasn't used as a term of endearment. It was used from us and from other cultures to put black people in a bad light. And that's what I saw. So when Robert Sarver says, why can't I say it? Which is, the reasons which is one of the reasons he's suspended for a year and they gave him a $10 million fine. And what is $10 million? What is $10 million to a billionaire? Somebody please tell me. I don't know, because I'm not a billionaire. Right? How does, what does $10 million equate to? To a billionaire. So now on the opposite end of the spectrum, I understand where my people, the people I grew up in my neighborhoods, which is mostly black, which is predominantly black and Hispanic, feel like they can use the N-word as a term of endearment. They took the negative connotation away from slave owners, right? I understand. So I asked Robert Sarver this. You call your wife baby, sweetie pie, honey, cutie pie, whatever so-called term of endearment that you use in your home to talk to your wife or your significant other. Let me walk in your home and use those same words towards your wife or significant other. So what I'm saying, Robert Sarver, if you're saying your wife got a fat butt, if you call her fat booty, let me call her fat booty. And see if you would like, if you like for me to say it or one of your friends to say it. And that's to any other person who feels like, hey, how can this black guy continue to say the N-word, but I can't? Let us walk. Let someone that looks like me walk into your house and talk to your wife the same way you talk to her. Use the same term of endearment. Now, for me, do I condone the use of the N-word? No, I don't. But I understand when someone that looks like me uses it. I know where they're coming from. I have walked in their shoes. So, again, you got different Phoenix Suns chairmen that sit on the board, that's sitting on the board, and now they want Robert Sarver removed from the board because you got companies like PayPal saying, hey, we're not doing business with you guys any longer if Robert Sarver is still involved with the Phoenix Suns. I'm going to let everybody that's on that board know I ain't trying to hear you. The NBA commissioner, great commissioner. I don't want to hold him accountable to taking this man's team or whatever. But the penalty, considering he's a billionaire, right, could have been a little harsher. Is this a strike to his ego? Yeah. Like somebody, I'm sure he owns the NBA team. He's a billionaire. I'm sure he's highly competitive. So the penalty could have been just a little harsher. But hey, look, maybe in the process, some teams would get Devin Booker, Chris Paul, some of these good players that's on the Phoenix Suns. They may decide not to want to play for him, play for the Phoenix Suns if he's involved with the team as well. But hey, yo, I'm getting ready to go watch the Giants. I'm hoping that the Giants go 2-0. Let the Jets get their first win. And we get a great week 2 of NFL football. This is your man DU. And I'm out. And this is Talking Trash. And for those who check me out, I'm going to make some noise for you. I'm going to do the Arsenio for you. And we out.